Hey, what's going on, everybody? Good morning to you. All right, let's take a look and see what we have on the agenda for today. I wanted to show you guys this crude oil chart here. And let's start off looking at crude oil. Yesterday, we were talking about trend lines and how to draw these trend lines. And you can see right here, this matches up pretty nicely. And this is a really nice, clean trend line here. And take a look, why we're using these points. We're using this point here. Hey, good morning, Frank. I'm glad you liked the interview. That was the first big interview. Brandon Wendell. It went pretty well. It went pretty smooth. Hey, Graham, how's it going, buddy? Good morning. Yeah, so these points here that we're using on the trend line, this point right here that we're connected to broke through structure right here, right? Then this connection point broke through structure here. This connection point broke through this structure. This connection point broke through here. And this didn't do anything, right? It's sort of in line with this one here. And then finally, we get this complete break of structure. So that's really the best way to draw out that trend line. And what you can do is every 2 points, you kind of close this up. So this we would draw kind of like this here, right? We would draw like this, pulls back, and you can see when you do it that way, when you sort of connect those points, when you connect those points by twos, right? You get a dynamic trend line, something that angles like this. Otherwise, you'll have a whole bunch of lines on your chart. Graham, yeah, I did see that. I did see that. I want to bring it up on the chart, and we'll take a look at it. Meta for the buy. Let's bring up Meta real quick. Meta. Oops. There it is. Meta. Meta platforms. Bring that up on the. Let's bring it up on the daily. Now, on the 1 hour chart, we look for these crossovers, right? Oh, you're saying Mark Zuckerberg sold a whole bunch of shares. Interesting. Okay. So isn't it interesting that on the 1 hour chart, what about the 4 hour? 1 hour, 4 hour. Okay, interesting. The 1 hour and the 4 hour chart are extended. You see that, Graham? Mark Zuckerberg decided to sell some shares. Hey, Mariana, how's it going? Can we still make money? Yeah, you can. It's the thing about it is, isn't it interesting that Mark Zuckerberg sells shares right at the same time that the 4 hour and 1 hour chart here is overextended? Take a look. Here's the 4 hour. bring up the 1 hour. Okay, don't worry about the 15-minute yet. Just look at what we got here. 1 hour chart extended and has recalculated. Okay. But the 4 hour chart, 4 hour chart is still extended. So we should be looking for some kind of double top here up in this area. Looks like it came right there and hit. Is all this making sense, guys? The logic behind this, is it making sense? Gary, what's going on, buddy? Here's your curve zone, right? Here's your curve zone right here on Meta. And the trend is extended. Look at these ADR levels. You've got 1, 2, 3 ADR levels for today. Okay, this is for today, right in here. That news came out. Obviously, that news came out. So, interesting. Well, all I know is that the trend is extended on that 4 hour chart. And what does that mean? That means price needs to get below this 50 simple here. And that's pretty far down. So that news, right? That news should drive the price down. Should drive the price down, eventually. It was the earnings. Okay. Yeah, I saw some news articles about a lot of earning. Google, Amazon, Facebook, a lot of earnings were not impressive. Let's say they did not impressive on the earnings, and that's what's causing these pullbacks. So, but it's interesting that we kind of knew that already, right? We kind of knew that already because we said, hey, high time frame, 4 hour chart here, we're extended. So what would be nice is if we get some kind of push back up into this zone here, and then we start to see things fail on the lower time frame. Okay. Now the NASDAQ itself is in our zone scanner here to the upside. Okay. So, you can't ignore that. If ever you're going to buy a stock or sell a stock, if you want, you have to look at the futures contract first. You've got to look at the NASDAQ or wherever that stock is located. If that stock, like Meta, if that stock is located in the NASDAQ, then you have to make sure that the NASDAQ futures are in the same direction as your trade on that specific stock. So in this case, we've got okay. So we've got all uptrends here, right? But we're transitioning to the downside, so it's not quite ready yet, right? Cycling down, momentum is down. 1 hour chart, we're getting this deep pullback, right? And it looks like it really dropped off here. So we're heading in that direction. We want to see that CCI indicator break below negative 100, and then start looking for some moves to the downside. Meta beat expectations. Interesting. Yeah. So it's going to be a fight, and that's what we are looking at right now. Let's see here. So on the NASDAQ, we've got a few more minutes till the open, but what are we looking at here? We are cycling back. We're pulling back, right? We're kind of going sideways, right? We're kind of going sideways on the NASDAQ, pulling back into this ADR level, okay? And trying to break through that CCI. Okay, so this would best be left for the opening range, so that we could at least see what this thing is trying to do. But this is quite a sideways movement here, right? Did break out to the downside. We broke structure here, but then we ripped back up, and now we are, let's see, we're just sort of at this market edge here. You know, we can draw it just like that, so that it encompasses all three of these points. Hit, 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 all 4 points there. We need to start seeing some breaks of structure, right? We've got to break through this 1 hour demand zone here. We got to break through this 1 hour demand zone, right? And yeah, okay, and we did. Well, I don't know what happened there. What happened there? That's interesting. Nope. Okay. We did switch over. Yeah. So NASDAQ is shifted over to the downside here. Market sentiment is to the downside. We've got a lot of crummy news out there. So we have to wait and see that this here gets broken. Makes sense, right? As long as, hey, good morning, Kazi. Good to see you. As long as you keep, you have to keep the context of the big picture. Always keep the context of the big picture in mind, and then start making your observations and putting those observations into an objective plan of action, right? So if there's terrible news out and market sentiment is to the downside, and we're seeing that momentum shift, right? We've already got it on the high time frame, and we're waiting to see that CCI break below -100. And if we crash below this demand zone here, now we've got a lot of evidence, right? We've got a lot of evidence to the downside. Can anyone help? TradingView does not open any super charts. Can't contact. Wants me to open what's a super chart? This? These are the That's interesting. Rotating circles. That sounds like a yeah, that sounds like an issue. That might not. Mine are working. That might be a bandwidth. That might be a bandwidth situation. I would close out maybe and reboot. Maybe. Yeah, I think so, Graham. Probably server issue. Because this is a web-based platform, so it should be if it's up and running on my end, it should be up and running on your end too. Those things happen, you know. Try to reboot. Let's see here. Okay. So yeah, so that's what we're waiting for. So we really have to wait for some more information. Let's see here. NASDAQ, let's look at the S&P. All of these are pretty much going to be in the kind of the same ballpark, right? S&P almost crossing that CCI, almost crossing below that CCI there. And we've got the downtrend on that lower time frame. Look at what we're going to run into today. Probably going to run into, look at this. This is a 1 hour. Here's the 1 hour rally base rally. Gosh, that's just, all right there. There's the 1 hour rally base rally. And we've got these two ADR checkpoints. So it's very possible we get something like this today. Whoops. Pulls down, right? Hits one of those ADRs. And then, starts making some moves. And by then, it'll start to slow down, right? But as long as we get that break below and we're cycling down, we could start to look for some TrendCloud signals to the downside. Micro Dow. Nice double top on the Micro Dow. And we've got CCI. Okay, look at this, guys. On the Micro Dow, look what we've got. We've got a double top, right? Look how this was extended. Extended trend, pulls up into this area, makes a nice move down. Now we're retesting that area, right? Now that we have this double top, what can we do with it? Remember that trick I showed you with Fibonacci? Grab that Fibonacci retracement tool. Go to the second top. Okay, click and click. So we're going to pull this. We're going to pull this Fibonacci retracement tool as far down as this leg is going to go. Okay. Does it reach here today? I don't know. Right now, it's right here. So at this point in time, if we get a pullback to the 618, we can take this short. Okay. And your stop loss would have to go above structure here. It would look like this. 618. Stop loss. 189. There you go. That's pretty legit right there. That is called a 2618 trade, meaning double top to 618, which is the Fibonacci retracement level. Okay. Yesterday, Brandon showed us a little trick he uses with the 8 and the 89 retracement on Fibonacci. Those are Fibonacci numbers, the 8 and the 89. And that was a really interesting, setup. And if you wanted to use those with TrendCloud, you totally could. You can just put those, you can put the 8 and the 89 and start testing TrendCloud with those values. That's what makes it so great to have a system that you could actually plug numbers into. Let's see here. Yeah, so that's a 2618 trade component there. So double top. There's the setup there. Can we get away with 4? Oops. Nope, too much. Okay. We've also seen this kind of go to the 786 or the 886, right? But we are safe. There's our stop loss there. So if we do get a push back up into this area, we could see some kind of reversal, possibly, right? Double top. So this would be a trend. This would be a counter trend move. This would be a counter trend move, and we are acting on the momentum here, cycling down, right? We're at the very beginning of this cycle down. Momentum is also with us to the downside. Momentum is with us to the downside, and we are high on the curve inside of the supply zone, right? Probably the only place that you could really do some kind of counter trend move. Let's open up that 15-minute chart. And take a look here. $15-minute chart, it would be pulling back into this, right in here. There's a demand zone. 15-minute demand zone inside of the 4-hour curve. A lot of strength to the downside. A lot of bad news. Do we know what's going to happen? We don't know what's going to happen. NASDAQ eyes higher. What was that? Now we're starting to get some good news on the NASDAQ. See, you don't know. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen. All we can do is trade what we see and put that logic together. Hey, Krishnan, what's going on, buddy? Krishnan, that Australian dollar trade. Let's go over to that Australian dollar trade. That didn't work out. Australian dollar. I saw your email on it. Let's just go over what we were looking at here. Go out to the 4-hour chart. And I mean, look at this. I mean, is this not crazy? Let's just really look at, what about the daily? No, 4-hour here. Okay. So 4-hour chart, right? This thing is just going from extreme high back to extreme. I mean, look at this. Look at this reversal candle here now. Look at this reversal. Sideways consolidation, breakout to the downside, right? So when I saw that, I said, okay, let's start taking trades. And you can see here's the 4-hour. Here's the 4-hour supply zone that broke through all this structure. It ripped through that and stopped us out. And now it went right back up to this area here and just touched it. And look what's happening now. I should have been in there. I should have been in there here, right? To take another shot at it. But I didn't do that. So this happened. This is 2 o'clock in the morning, and then 6 o'clock in the morning pulled up. You would have had to have had that waiting there for you, unfortunately. But there's no TrendCloud trade plan system for that. This is this is just taking one observation and taking a small risk on it, right? We don't like to do that all the time. I have this trade posted on TradingView in right here, Australian dollar shorting opportunity. I'll star it right there. And it's a little video, and it shows it shows the process of going through setting up this trade. So I would take a look at that. But this is just crazy. So, you know, now what we've got here is if this breaks through structure here. So if we break through structure here, let's get rid of that. If we break through structure here, we have officially put in a lower high, right? We have officially put in a lower high if we break through structure here, which means we want to start looking for the pullback. And what do we have here? We've got a drop-based drop right in here. So we've got to prepare for that. Everybody see that? Drop-based drop. I'm sorry, guys. This is a rally base rally here, and we're breaking through that. Apologize. That was my mistake. We need to look for something like that, right? And it hasn't been formed yet on the lower time frames, right? On the lower time frames. Look what we're already hitting. I mean, today we've hit the third ADR checkpoint. We hit the third ADR checkpoint on here. So we're pretty much just going sideways. We need to see break of structure. That's what we need to see. If it does pull back up into here, you can take a small chance to go short. How many people are here taking a chance to go long? Wouldn't make sense to do that, right? We broke through all this structure here, right? We broke through all of this right here. This is a deep pullback into a supply zone. That's what we need to wait for. Is that going to happen today? My goodness. If in order to break structure here today, right? Don't even worry about that anymore. In order to break through this structure, we're going to have to go through every single ADR checkpoint. Look at that. We'll have to go through every single ADR checkpoint just to break structure. That's crazy. That's crazy. So what's going to happen here? We're going to have to wait, you know. How would you add 8 and 89 EMA? Oh, you would go here. Okay. And you would put it here. There's two places you would have to put it, Kazi. So you would have to put the 8 and the 89 here. Okay. And then you would have to go down here and put 89 and 8. And just replace these EMAs with those numbers. And see how TrendCloud, you know, reacts using that. What he's doing is he's waiting for the 8 to cross over the 89. And then he's waiting for a pullback to the 89. So it's the same concept. You know, we're waiting for a crossover of the trend cloud with the 50 simple, and then a pullback into the trend cloud, right? That's same concept. Yeah, same concept. Only he's just using two moving averages. Yeah. Oh, good, Kristen. Yeah. It was a good interview. Who should we interview next, guys? Who should we interview next? Maybe Taylor Frame? Think Taylor Frame would do it? Come on to the TrendCloud Trading Podcast? I think he would do it. Okay, so we'll set an alert here. We will set an alert, and we're going to say crossing down, alert name, Aussie dollar, Aussie D, and one time, that's fine. And our message will be broke structure. That's what we're waiting for. We're waiting for that break of structure. Aussie D. Unbelievable. Unbelievable sideways movement here. I mean, I think there's just more sellers up in here that really want to push this thing down. So how many times will that work? You'll never know. All you could do is, in a sideways movement like this, you just set your short here and you just wait and see what happens. But this is an incredible push down. This is a real parabolic movement push to the downside here. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay, so let's get back. Let's see, it's 9:30. There's the open. 4-hour chart. Starting to cycle down. 1-hour chart heading for that ADR checkpoint. And we got the opening range here. Opening range is starting right here. Now on that DOW, the DOW is where we have that 2618 trade right now. We cross below any type of pullback, and here we go. We're pulling back. We're pulling back into the 15-minute trend cloud here. We're going to be pulling back into the 15-minute. Oh, I'm glad they're working. I'm glad they're working now, Graham. That's annoying. We're going to be pulling back into that 15-minute trend cloud right here. And that happens to be a 618 retracement. So we'll see. We'll take a chance on it. We'll see what happens here. We're choosing to take the momentum. Momentum is down, cycling down, double top right inside of that supply zone. 2618 trade. Let's see what happens. We're already getting quite a rejection candle here. This thing might just totally rip to the downside. Russell is about to hit its first ADR checkpoint. Russell is down, cycling down, momentum is down. We've got two downtrends here. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I think oh, there's a 5-minute up arrow on wheat. So we're kind of sideways, aren't we? We're kind of sideways on this move here. Sideways, haven't broken through structure. And on that 4-hour chart, all of this is pretty much, right, hitting that previous week's open, heading towards the previous day's low, right here, previous day's low, and an ADR checkpoint. So I don't think that 2618 trade is going to work now. I don't think that Dow trade is going to work. I think we've got too much force now to the downside. When the Russell runs away like that, the Russell usually runs first. And then it's followed by the Dow, the NASDAQ, and then the S&P. But who knows? The logic is there, right? The logic is there. 5-minute chart. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Right here, 5-minute chart. Let's see. Yeah, 5-minute chart. Oh gosh, look at that. It didn't quite pull back. It did pull back into the 5-minute trend cloud. Pulled back into the 5-minute trend cloud, and oh my God, it's just taken off. Yeah. Unbelievable. We didn't get a 5-minute trend cloud signal. It was too strong to the downside. Man, oh man, it's just taken off to the downside here. So now we have to bring this down further. Highly doubt that's going to work. I think this thing is just going to take off. Krishnan, you've got to, there's two places you got to put that 8 and 89 if you want to test it out. You got to put it up here. You have to say 8 and then 89. Just put the 8 where the 15 is and the 89 where the 34 is. And then you have to scroll down here, okay? And you've got to put it here. Only the numbers are inverted. So now you got to put 89 and 8 here. So there's two places that you have to do it. This up here is for the to show the crossover, and this here is to show the trend cloud itself. So there's two places. No, doesn't work. Let's see. Eight and 89. Here, 89. 8. There you go. There might be a little bit of lag, Krishnan. See how mine took a little while to so that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. So what he's doing is right here is the crossover of the 8 and the 89. And now he's waiting for a pullback to the 89. So you can even make the 50 89 as well, and make that 2, because you want the exponential. And let's see. There you go. So this is what Brandon is doing. Crossover of the 8 and the 89. He's waiting for a pullback to touch the 89 for that entry. It's pretty cool. I mean, take a look. Look at our TrendCloud signals. I mean, here's your TrendCloud signal. Your TrendCloud signals are, forming on those candlesticks. So Brandon's waiting for it to hit the 89, but with TrendCloud, it's actually giving you some signals that are saying, hey, these are the candles you can take. Is that working for you, Christian? And here you go. Crossover of the 8 and the 89, pulls back. That's pretty shallow. Keeps giving you signals right here to the upside, right? Trend goes extended, and this is like really super extended, but you can see it's, you can definitely play around with it. You can definitely play around with those numbers. Breaks through, right? This signal doesn't happen, right? You never get into this, but these all worked to the upside. See, it's working on my end. It's working on my end. Put it back, 15, 34, and 50, and 1, and 34, 15. There we go. We'll put it back. So same concept. See that, guys? That was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It definitely changes the dynamic a little bit, but we're just getting those TrendCloud signals at the 15 and the 34. Boy, oh boy, that was quite a run. That was quite a run. All righty. Okay, so another couple of minutes and we should have the opening range. If we've got a ton. Let's think this through. We've got a lot of momentum to the downside, don't we? The trend is, up on the 4-hour chart, but we double topped, right? We double topped, and we're starting to break below the trend, right, to the downside. We're trying to make that full trend reversal on the 1-hour. And now we're breaking below negative 100. So we've got a lot of information to the downside. If on the opening range we get a breakout to the upside, if this breaks out to the upside on the opening range, I think we'd be looking for a bull trap, wouldn't we? And that's already set up right in here. We'd be looking for some kind of bull trap. If it breaks out to the downside, then we're definitely taking the retest of the opening range, right? That makes sense, right? So that's what we're trying to decide here now. So it looks like the opening range is going to be somewhat, this candle right here. Let's just make sure we're on the 15-minute. We are. 15-minute opening range. It's probably going to be somewhere in here. Breakout to the upside. As soon as we hit that 618 or around that area, can even pull it back to here. We're going to take a chance on this. So maybe there it is. Okay, so there's your opening range, right? 945. Opening range has formed. If we break out to the upside, we've got a ton of momentum pushing us down. So we're going to be looking for some kind of bull trap, right? And we've got our supply zone, everything's set up. We've got everything set up right here. If it breaks to the downside, we can definitely take the retest in something that forms in here. That's it. So I've got everything set. Previous day's close, that's where I've got my entry, 3 contracts, $160 risk. This would be a bull trap, and it would also be a legitimate 2618 trade using that Fibonacci trick. Let's go over to wheat and check out. We had some signals come in on wheat. Okay. Wheat is doing the same weird stuff that the Australian dollar is doing, isn't it? It's in this extreme high down to extreme low, sideways, extreme low, break to the upside. Now we're back up into the supply zone here. Meta and Amazon. Let's take a look at Meta and Amazon. So yeah. Now with wheat, we're extended. Look at how we are extended on that 15-minute chart, coming back up into this supply zone. And look what we have right here, right? We've got this ADR checkpoint, okay? But uptrend, momentum to the upside. This is just an observation, right? We don't want to go short this, right? Do something like this. We don't really want to do that because this is early in the trend, and we have momentum on our side, and there's uptrend. So we have trend and momentum going in the same direction. But making this observation, yeah, extended trend pulls up into the supply zone, hits that average daily range, could be some type of reaction to that. But we don't have enough evidence for it to actually put that trade in place there, because we know how strong momentum and trend is when you have that together. And this is just one piece of information against several pieces of information, right? If we were pulling back up into here on an extended trend, hitting the ADR level, and we had this type of situation where the CCI was below -100 and momentum on the high time frame was also red, then we'd be in a much better situation to take that trade. But that's not what's going on here. I really can't believe that Australian dollar. And look what happened. Unbelievable. This is a typical sideways movement, right? It defies all logic. It defies all logic, right? Going for the 4th ADR checkpoint. Yeah. I think by the end of the day, this is going to slowly start to creep back up to here. Extreme high to extreme low. Very, very difficult. This is a strategy when you're taking trades in a sideways movement, like this. Like, okay, we're going to take it. We're going to take this trade long down here. We're going to take this trade short when it gets up into here. That's it. That's all. That's the whole strategy. That's the whole strategy. So is that is that enough? I mean, it could be, but that goes against everything that we kind of worked at. Meta and Amazon stocks. Meta. Go back to Meta. Woo! What? What in the world? Graham, what's going on here? Kaboom. So Meta breaks to the upside here. Super extended trend now. But what happened? Mark Zuckerberg, I thought Mark Zuckerberg sold a whole bunch of Meta. So you really don't know. You really don't know. Look at that ADR checkpoint. It just broke through all of that. Turn that off. So this is a parabolic movement, right? What usually happens in this type of situation? A super gap, yeah. Gap fills, right? Now we're looking for some kind of gap fill. Where price comes back, fills this gap somewhere in this area to make the move up. There's no way you would predict something like that. There's no way. We're super extended on that daily chart or 4-hour chart. Yeah. Super extended on that 4-hour chart here. Could you go back to the MES setup? I'm missing. What are you missing on that MES? And we'll take a look at Amazon too. I think maybe you mean the DOW. The DOW trade we have a setup on. What happened here? Oh, here, micro DOW. You mean this one, right, Gary? So this is the DOW trade. And what we're doing here is we've got a double top on the 4-hour chart. We are cycling down and momentum is down, okay? So because we double topped, we're saying this is like a retest of this area. So this is a supply zone. And we are cycling down with momentum at our back. So we're cycling down with a lot of momentum, and CCI is below negative 100. Okay. So we've got high time frame momentum, middle time frame momentum with us. And we have just formed this double top. So there's a technique called the 2618 trade. And if you look at that number, 2618 means 2, meaning double top, 618 meaning the Fibonacci 618 retracement level. So double top, 618, 2618. So it's just a name for the trade. It's just a clever name like given to the trade. So what you do is you take your Fibonacci tool from swing high. Another alert on wheat. Swing high to swing low. And you can take your entry at the 618 retracement level. Okay. We happen to have right here we happen to have our 1 hour supply zone inside of the 4 hour curve. Didn't you do an opening range? Oh, yes. So the opening range, what we're saying is that on the opening range, with all this downward momentum, high time frame, cycling down, and momentum is down. Middle time frame, momentum is down, crossing through that trend cloud to the downside. Everything's lining up to the downside. So on the opening range, Gary, if we break to the upside on the opening range, isn't that going to be strange? It's like we're breaking out to the upside with all this downward momentum. Look what we're heading for. A bull trap, right? So we're saying bull trap because all the bulls are in here looking at the breakout of the opening range, and they're saying, okay, we're going long. Okay, and we're saying we've got a ton of downward momentum, and we've got a supply zone right here inside of the 4 hour curve. Okay, could be a bull trap. Do we know which one's going to work? No, we don't know. But that's the scenario. So the logic being, Gary, when you see that your momentum is lined up, on those higher time frames. Momentum is down, 4 hour chart. Momentum is down, 1 hour chart. Down, down. Breaking to the upside out of the opening range with all this downward momentum? Okay. Start looking for bull traps, right? Now, if it doesn't reach that, and you've got all this downward momentum, and it does this and breaks out to the downside, then we can start looking for the retest, right? So you've got two strategies there that are in play. So if it breaks to the upside, we're set for our bull trap. If it breaks to the downside, we take the retest of the opening range. And perhaps, on this movement here, it forms some kind of drop-based drop, right? In which case we would do like that and box it out on that 15-minute chart. That is that's the logic. That's our theory, right? And our strategy, our objective strategy put into place. We're choosing a tool. Do we choose the bull trap, or do we choose the retest of the opening range? What are we eating here? Are we eating soup, or are we eating a steak? What kind of tools are we going to use? We got a soup spoon, and we got a knife and fork for the steak. It depends on what's being served, right? Are we being served some soup? If we break to the upside, well, then we're going to use a bear trap, a bull trap. If we're eating steak and it breaks out to the downside, we're using a retest of the opening range. That's how we do it. Very effective technique. Very effective technique. Both regular TrendCloud 889 is giving me the same score. Oh, wow. Interesting. Oh, that's interesting. That's interesting. I tell you, Kazi, you can't go wrong with Fibonacci. In fact, what I like to do is if you go on Google and you just type in Fibonacci number sequence, it'll give you like one line, because you wouldn't go past like 100 something, on Fibonacci. And those lower numbers, you know, I think I have it somewhere. I've got it I'll post it in the Facebook group so that you could copy it. But if you Google Fibonacci number sequence, it should come up. Fib number list. Let's see here. Yeah, Fibonacci number list. Let's see. There you go. There's the 8 and the 89. So if you use those numbers, right? Oh, wow, look what it did. Whenever I post something, oh, it must be posting it on both Facebook pages and YouTube comment. Interesting. Okay, very cool. StreamYard, cool software. 2 thumbs up. So those are the Fibonacci numbers. And it's interesting. You should understand how the formula works. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. 2 plus 1 is 3. That's his formula, right? And if you use that, you get some very interesting data. So any of those numbers, you use a smaller number and a larger number for that sequence, and those are all exponential. Those would be exponential moving averages that you would use. So anytime you use Fibonacci, you really you get good results. You get good results with the data. Just bouncing around in the middle there. Just bouncing around in the middle of that opening range. Let's see. Let's go back to Amazon. Go take a look at Amazon. Same thing, right? Huge gap up on Amazon. Where's that 1 hour? So back here, back on January 18th was where we accumulated Amazon, right? We accumulated Amazon right here. And if you accumulated there, it went on sale here. And today we got another crossover, but that's a huge gap up, right? So if we accumulated here and we accumulated here, we always accumulate on that 1 hour chart and it'll give you great results. Accumulate, sideways, accumulate right there. Open this up. Let's take a look. Accumulate, right? Sideways movement, accumulate. Amazon goes on sale, accumulate, and rip to the upside. You can't lose. You really can't lose. That's how I do it. It works great. You can't lose. Accumulate, accumulate, accumulate. The big stocks, you know. A lot of people, today, yeah, here's the earnings. Yeah, right. Here's earnings. Surprise. That's hilarious. Surprise. 25.85%. Okay. Right. We use stocks for long-term growth, and we use trading short-term rapid growth. That'll be the weekend read. Yeah. Yep. For sure. Absolutely. Let's see. Let's go back over to wheat. Yep. Wheat heading for that. just like same situation. Looks like the same situation as the Aussie dollar. It wants to go to that extreme high, back to that extreme low, and just stay in that sideways movement. Does that accumulate? Does the accumulate strategy work on ET? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, when you want to just buy the S&P, Gary. Yeah, absolutely. Put that sucker right on there. 1 hour chart. Let's buy. There we are. Right. Spider. Wait, is that it? Yeah. The SPY. I think there's SPX too. SPX. S&P index. It's all the same thing. 1 hour chart. Accumulate. Accumulate. Oof. Oof. Wow. Accumulate. You know, it's probably long-term wealth. You can't go wrong. Oops. Because but you waited a long time, didn't you? So start accumulating, you know, call up your guy. Hey, look, put another whatever, you know, into the S&P. Accumulate, nice run, starts to go extended, sideways, recalculates, continues the move up, right? Drops down, goes on sale right here, accumulate, sideways, goes on sale, accumulate, and right here, right? Sideways. Here we go. So we just entered another accumulation phase right there. That's it. SPY's on funds. All right, Kazi, have a good one, man. And that's it. So, yeah, Friday, man, not a lot of theory, right? We've got that set up on the micro DOW, but that's about it for now. That's about it. Yeah. Well, I think that's about it, guys. Let's see. Yeah. Well, what happened with gold? Let's take a quick look at gold. Same thing. We've got that area up here on gold. Gold broke out to the downside. Okay, so this is like what we want to see on the Dow, right? It did it on the gold. So gold, even though we're in an uptrend, we hit that high time frame supply zone, deep pullback, cycling down, momentum is down, crossover of the 1 hour trend to the downside. Candles are red, TrendCloud is red. There's the crossover. We are below negative 100. So if we pull back, we've got the opening range and we've got this supply zone here. I would definitely go for that higher supply zone area there. Right? There's $100. That would be the move. That would be the move right there. Let's see. Document my charts with the analyst news to see thoughts. Mena, yeah, yeah. We kind of know before the news, don't we, Graham? We kind of see stuff before the news happen, or we'll read the news and we'll say, huh, that's interesting. You know, yeah, very interesting stuff. So those would be the setups there, guys. That would be the setup. Is it going to hit this and take off to the downside? We don't know. You'd have to take 2 shots at it or just one right up here. Okay, but remember, the whole idea is try to stick to those rules. Try to make that 8%, right? We're looking to make 8% every 2 weeks, and stick within the parameters of the rules. Don't lose more than 500 in a day. Can't lose more than $1,000 over those 2 weeks. And at the end of the 2 weeks, we'll see what we've got. And once you're consistent with that, then by all means, you can go for it and go try to take one of these challenges. Yesterday, I'll leave you with this. When I was talking to Brandon about prop trading firms, listen to this. He's an affiliate for, I think, Avery. And thanks, Frank. I will see you on Monday. Brandon was saying he's an affiliate for, I think it's called Avery or Apex. I think it's Apex that he's an affiliate for. And it's very interesting that Apex, listen to this, guys. Listen to this rule. Are you ready for this? On the website, on the Apex website, in order to pass the challenge, you have to have 0 drawdown. 0, which means if you get 1 stop out, you're out. Now, how ridiculous is that? How ridiculous is that? Let me bring that up, and I'll leave you with that. Let's see if I can find it. Apex prop trading. Yeah. Let's see. Or maybe it's Top Step Trader. Well, here's Apex. No, I think it's this. We got to find the rules here. Let me see if I can find the rules. If you watch the affiliates, about home tools. Let's see. Yep, I found it. Let me see if I can bring this up here. I gotta show you guys this. Hold on a second. Okay. Here's what it costs, right? In order to get funded $25,000, says 4 contracts or 40 micros. Okay, I'm not really sure what that means. Maybe you have to trade. You might have to trade that. Profit goal 1,500. I understand that. Daily drawdown, none. Scaling out, none. You are not allowed. You are not allowed to scale out of the position, and you are not allowed to have 1 failed trade. Okay. And they're going to charge you $147 a month. Okay. $147 a month until you pass the challenge. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, guys. That, my friends, is how these people make money here. Does that sound legitimate? I mean, I'm sorry, but another, not one mistake. Daily drawdown, 0. We're going to charge you $147 a month until something happens. Okay. This is stacking the deck. They're stacking the deck in their favor. Okay, they want to be the house. You can do it on NinjaTrader, real-time data fees here. What's the most? Ooh, here you go, $250,000. You can get funded $250,000. Okay. Trailing threshold. Profit goal is 15,000. Zero losses. You take one loss, you're out. And until you make that money, we're going to charge you $517 a month. Thank you very much, but no thanks. No thanks, Apex. Sorry, buddy. That's not for me. Not for me. Okay. All right. I mean, like, what do you guys think about that? Would you guys go for that? Oh yeah. Okay, Apex. Yeah, you charge me $517 or whatever it is. Charge me $500 a month. The none. Oh, what is that? The none means there isn't a limit. Are you serious? Is that what it means, William? Because Brandon said that meant no losses. We'll have to find that out, because my interview with Brandon yesterday, he told me that meant 0 losses. So we got to I'm going to find out. Thank you, William. Thank you for that, man. So William is saying, hey man, that actually means you can have as many losses as you want. There is no limit on the losses. That kind of changes the game, my man, right? Thanks, William. I'm gonna text Brandon and see what the heck that means. All right, because that's interesting. Okay, that's interesting. We shall find out. We shall find out about that. So if there's an unlimited, that means they're not putting any limit on your drawdown. So you can lose as much as you want until you make that 1,500. We really need to get the rule. See, it's got to be clear. It's got to be clear. The rules have to be clear. And hopefully we can get somebody on the phone, right? Hey, man. Hey, Apex. I'm trying to understand the rules here, because I cannot move forward with this unless I understand 100% of what these rules mean. Okay? Because you have to have your strategy straightened out. So let's just continue to practice in our account using at least just one strategy, right? So again, every 2 weeks, we're gonna look at the results. And what we're doing is we're saying 8% on whatever amount of money you want. Well, I'm using $20,000 account, 8% in 2 weeks, can't lose more than $500 in a day, can't lose more than $1,000 in the 2 weeks. I think that's a good rule to follow. It disciplines you, okay? But we shall find out over the weekend what that actually means. That's pretty exciting. Okay, that's something very exciting to look at over the weekend. Thank you again, William. Excellent job. And I am going to text Brandon. I'm going to text Brandon. William, feel free. Are you in the private Facebook group? Jump in there, man. There's a lot of free videos in there. And the interview, the interview with Brandon is actually on YouTube as well. That was the last live session. And it'll say interview with Brandon, CMT. We had a nice little chat for an hour. And he showed us a couple of cool things with the Fibonacci lines, talked about the CMT program and, you know, what that actually is useful for. And we talked about, you know, some prop trading. So that's it for me, guys. I'm going to be signing off now, and not on Facebook. Oh, okay. Yeah. Check out the interview. It's on Facebook, and I mean, it's on YouTube. It's on YouTube, and yeah. Jump into the newsletter or something. Make sure you get in our newsletter, um, and I've got some great videos on TradingView as well. If you just go to the profile here, if you go to my profile and you just click onto this little bit.ly link here, if you click onto that, it will bring up something. It'll bring up my link tree. It'll bring up the little link tree, and that link tree will look like this. There you go. It'll bring this little thing up. If you want to practice prop trading firm challenges for free and not have to pay $500, you know, the TrendCloud trade plan is on there, and also the TrendCloud itself, the TrendCloud system is on there as well. All inside there. So that's it, guys. That's it for me. Thanks, Mariana. Good to see you. Have a great weekend. William, thank you for that. And everybody else, have a great weekend. Good job. And I will see you guys back on Monday. Thanks, everybody.